Cowabunga Corner. In this episode, we are talking with fellow Turtle fan, Santino. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, always happy to be able to hang out, talk, and chit-chat about turtle stuff with, yes. Can you tell our viewers how you became a Ninja Turtle fan?
Well, I first got into the Ninja Turtles by watching the 5-part miniseries, and I just fell in love with it because this is the idea of martial arts in a cartoon. There weren't really a lot of cartoons dealing with any kind of martial arts principles or even having martial arts in them, so I was really excited because I was a huge martial arts fanatic ever since I was a kid. Some of my earliest memories were watching Bruce Lee movies, and that's how I got into martial arts because I just fell in love with it by watching Bruce Lee in movies. He was just amazing. And the next thing you know, there's only about 5 Bruce Lee movies, and after that, there's other movies that have like little pieces of him in it, but there's really only so many Bruce Lee movies. After a while, you have to find another genre if you want to continue in martial art movies. So I started getting into ninjas. I like the concept of ninjas. I love ninjas ever since I was a kid. In fact, I had ninja shaved into my head when that was the style back in the 80s, shaving words into your head. And when I was a kid, in fact, in kindergarten, they went around asking everybody, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you, some kids would say, oh, I want to be a fireman. Some other kids would say, I want to be, a football player or astronaut. What do you want to be? And I said, I want to be a ninja. And then all the other kids got mad at me. They were like, you have to pick a real job. It's not a real job.
Yes, it is.
I'm like, of course. I was like, I could be a ninja. I can hide around and scale the side of buildings and swing swords. I'm sure someone would pay me for that. So when I saw Ninja Turtles, I was like, wow, what is this? And of course, what kid doesn't like any superhero that loves pizza?
Pizza's good. I like pizza.
So I really got into it, but then a little bit of time went by. There was just that 5-part miniseries. There wasn't a series going for a while. It was a little bit of time, but for a kid, it's a long amount of time. You're waiting, when is it going to come out? Are there going to be more? And finally, the wait was worth it. And as soon as the show came out, I was hooked. I had to watch it. Like, I couldn't miss an episode. And then from there, you had the toys, and I saw the toys. I went crazy when I saw them because I was like, these are it. These are the Ninja Turtles. These are the guys that I've been watching on TV, and I had to have them. And my first Ninja Turtle was Raphael. That was my first Ninja Turtle toy. And then I just started building the collection from there.
That's really cool. The toys are awesome.
Yeah.
I do agree. So, who is your favorite character and why?
Well, that's a hard one to explain. That's a hard one to figure out because I know my favorite turtle is Raphael, but there are so many cool other characters. The villains are so cool. You have Shredder, you have Leatherhead, you have like all these different. The Foot Clan. That was always something that I was really intrigued with was Shredder and the fact that he had this army of ninjas. It was great, and that's one of the things I really liked in the movies, especially the second one. They really explored the whole side of the Foot Clan and sneaking into the Foot Clan and their whole operation. So I really liked the second one. The first one's my favorite, though.
Now, with collections, you mentioned that you've been collecting some turtle items. Do you have a favorite collectible or a favorite area that you collect most of?
Well, when I was a kid, I was big into the toys, and it wasn't so much about like collecting them and like keeping them in the packages or anything. I just wanted to play with them. I wanted to stage my own little scenes and fight scenes and stories, and and make them talk to each other and make all these situations. I was kind of like as a kid, almost like a director directing my own Ninja Turtle scenes, and the more cast you have, the better. So
yes,
that's what I got into, and then as I got older, I got into the comic books because I'm a pretty big comic book kid. So that was the next area, and then when the movies came out, that was huge. I remember being a kid in the theaters watching the first movie, and the excitement that I had because I remember seeing them, in a cartoon, 2D, 2 dimensions, on, comic books, but it was just the anticipation of knowing that I was going to see a real, live, walking, talking turtle interacting, not, a cartoon, a real, live, talking turtle interacting with other actors. It was really exciting, and I remember being in the theaters, being a kid, and seeing the opening scene where April O'Neil is getting harassed by some local thugs, and you see a sight hit the light, and then just the lights go out, and it's like, oh my God, they're here. And then it was a real tease because you didn't actually get to see him right away. He's just peeking under the sewer, and eventually you did get to see him, but it was just seeing them, and Jim Henson did an amazing job. I really like the job he did. If anybody could do it, Jim Henson. He made magic with puppetry, and I think that's why the movies are so special to me, because you can see all the work that went into them. From making the mouths move to the stunts, to the actors inside the costumes, to the backpacks and the shells. I mean, everything.
Even the sets were just elaborate, very well detailed.
Yeah, they're very well detailed, and the turtles. I mean, just making the turtles come alive. It takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of people's effort, and it's just, you can see that effort in the magic of the turtles. So I think overall, as I got older, the movies were my favorite media.
Well, that just answered my next question.
Yep, the movies. I love the movies. I love the turtle movies.
Was there ever a time where you fell out of the fandom?
Yeah, there was a time. It happened around the next mutation, in that series. I wasn't a big fan of it at first, because instantly I had the turtle movies are up here. There's a certain standard. Like when you think of Ninja Turtles, it's like the movies. If they do anything with live turtles, it's got to be like top notch. It's got to be the best, and I just didn't think they did the best that they could with that series, and it was...
The best is expensive!
I know the best is expensive, but that's just, as a kid, that's what you expect. You don't understand that. You just know that, these are, the turtles, and it's just so magical when you see them, and then you see... It kind of looks like the Power Rangers, like a Power...
I did not feel that with that series.
Well, it's made by the same company as...
I know it is, but... The costumes were not made by the same company. And the layouts does not have the, oh no, here's the villain. We have to grow into these super monster things because the villain grew big to defeat it. They did not have the same plot as the Power Rangers did every single episode. So it never had the Power Ranger feel to me. The Ninja Turtles, they did so many different type of villains, and the Next Mutation to me has its own greatness to it, just because they were willing to try and do a TV series with the characters as live.
Yeah, as an adult watching it over, I found a new appreciation for it, because I could really appreciate scripts and storylines and stuff like that. But I just remember as a kid going, it's not exactly as good as the movies. I hate it. But as an adult, I can appreciate the scripts, because the stories are. I actually started watching The Next Mutation, and I have to say that my favorite part of that series, now that I'm getting into it now as an adult, is the stories. The storylines are really good. The writing is really good. I really enjoy it now as an adult. But just being a kid, and you're used to what Steve Barron did with the first one, and the second one was so good. It's like you're kind of spoiled. It's like it's such a high level of greatness. If it's anything short of that, you're just going to be like, this is not cool. But I really like it now, and I do like the company. I do like Saban. I like a lot of their work, because even as a kid, I still liked a lot of Saban's work. Maybe not the Power Rangers, but I was a big fan of the Lost Cities of Gold. That was probably another thing that I'm a huge fan of, and as a kid, that was a really special series to me. and watching Esteban go through his adventures and make it from Spain in search of the lost cities and just everything. That was an amazing cartoon as well.
In the early 90s, well, actually it was in the late 80s, you got word that your brother was offered a chance to work on the Ninja Turtle movies. What was your reaction to this?
Well, my reaction was just pretty much one of a maniac. I just went crazy. I was just like, oh my God, because he had mentioned it to our mom, and we have the same mom, different dad, and we were visiting him in LA because we were living in Northern California at the time. And the first usual thing, when greeting, you have one of your family that you haven't seen in a long time is, hey, what's going on and what's been up? And one of the first things he mentioned was he got an offer to be in a turtle costume, and he doesn't know, he's not sure about it. Being about, I think he was about 16 at the time or so, 16 or 17, something like that. He's not really watching cartoons. That's not really what he's doing. So, but me being a very small kid at the time, I had already got into Turtles. I had the toys. In fact, I pulled one out and showed him. I was like, this is what it is. And it's like, you got to do this. I was freaking out because I couldn't believe, A, he got offered to be one of the Turtles. And then also, B, I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, this is a no-brainer. You have to do it. And he's like, I don't know, turtles, ninjas. I'm in a turtle suit. I don't know about this. And I was like, trust me, you got to do this. And I think he was happy that he did do it. It turned out to be a wonderful thing because he got to return the second time in the second movie and be a human, which is always nice. It's a load off getting out of that.
So you guys can kind of guess now who he is.
Yeah. So I think he was happy the second time around getting to show his face and not be in a 100-pound costume of latex rubber and not hyperventilating and suffocating there, because that's a feat in itself, doing all that martial arts because he was the stunt guy in a giant suit.
Yeah. Now, during this time, did you ever get to visit the sets or get to see photos of what he was working on or any sneak previews the rest of us never saw?
Actually, not really, because they did a lot of shooting in North Carolina for the first one, and in the second one, a lot of it took place in New York, and I'm a California boy, and I've always been in California my whole life, so I've never been to New York. So I've never actually gotten to visit one of the sets because it's always been on the east side of the country. But hopefully I'll get to visit maybe the new set, the latest movie when it comes out. But as for behind the scenes stuff, I only saw a couple of pictures that he sent with him and some of the other guys with the heads off. And it was just a bunch of pictures that those guys red in the face and kind of like exhausted. They could just tell they've been battling, and in those suits it's a big task. Every once in a while he'd call me from the set. I actually have a funny story about that. He called me from the Ninja when he was just finding out about the new Ninja Turtles movie before they started filming, and or actually it was during the time he had filmed, and he hadn't mentioned it to me yet, but he wanted to surprise me because he knows what a big fan I am of the Turtles. So he said, guess what, I'm making another Turtles movie. And I was like, yeah, I was going all crazy. And I was like, so are you Donatello again? And he's like, no, I'm not a turtle. And I was like, because I was like a little disappointed because I really like the Turtles. So it was like really a cool thing to be able to tell people he's actually in there. That's my brother in that turtle. And he was like, no, this is better. I get to be a different character. I get to be a human. And I was like, oh, I guess that's cool, Not as cool as being a turtle, but I guess that's all right. And I said, well, what's the name of your character? And he said, Kino. And there was a bad connection on the phone. Now, I go by Santino, and I've gone by Santino for many years as an adult. But as a kid, I went by Tino, and a lot of people who've known me since I was a little kid, they know me as Tino, even though I don't go by it anymore. So as he's telling me my name is Kino, because of the bad connection, I thought he said, my name is Tino. I thought he said his character's name was Tino, and I'm like, wait a minute, shouldn't I be playing that character? It's called Tino, and he was confused because he didn't know at first. He was like, well, why are you playing this? Why should you play this character? I'm like, because it's my name, Tino. And he goes, no, I said Kino, Kino. I'm like, oh, okay. So we had a good laugh about that, and I think that was kind of a funny story. But I've never gotten to visit one of the sets yet, but I look forward one day, hopefully, I'll get to visit the set, and maybe one day I'll get to go to Ray's Pizza.
Oh, yes. You come to New York, I'll show you there.
Okay, we'll do it.
With the Turtle movies, can you share us a little bit that you know about your brother's work on the first Turtle movie?
Yeah, he choreographed and performed all the fight scenes for Donatello, and he was the stunt double for Donatello, which was very cool. And he also choreographed a fight scene, all his fight scenes, and performed them and performed the stunts as Kino in the second one. And so basically, the extent of his work on the Turtles movie was being a stunt guy, and then being an actor, and then also a choreographer.
Wow, he got a lot. Did he get any credit for his choreography?
Yeah, in fact, I believe it's in the first movie. It's he has a separate credit from the stuntman, and it says all fight scenes or all stunt work or fight scenes choreographed by Ernie Reyes Jr. in the first one, I believe, and I think he got one in the second one. I may have him switch.
All for Donatello, right?
Yeah, for Donatello, and I think he got a credit as Kino, all fight scenes choreographed, but I'm pretty sure it's the first one for sure, because I remember seeing his name extra big in the end credits, because I watched the movie all the way to the end till there's nothing left.
You were still very young when the Turtle movie came out, still in school and everything, but the first movie, did you talk about your brother being a turtle?
I remember when I was when I found out that he was going to be Donatello, I was in kindergarten, and I'd mentioned that to one of my friends, and he was like, yeah, right, like, sure, he's going to be, they're not real. First, that was the first thing. He's like, they're not real, or like, because none of the kids knew that there was going to be a Turtle movie. At this point, we all just know that there's the toys and there's the cartoon. But then when I mentioned that, yeah, he's going to be a turtle, no one believed me. They're like, yeah, right. And then later, the movie came out, and then people were like, flip their lid. They're like, wow, this is, there's a movie, came out. And actually, at first, people still didn't believe me that he was my brother, because we have different last names on the count effect. We have different dads but the same mom. And then his other siblings have the same dad but different moms. So it's kind of mixed up there.
Crazy family tree, huh?
Yeah, it has many branches, and it branches off in very different ways.
Now, did Ernie working on the Turtle movies help your fandom in any way, make you a bigger fan and last longer in it? Or do you feel like no matter what, you would have remained that fan all the way through there?
Oh, I would have remained a fan all the way through, because I was into it before he was signed on to be Donatello, and to this day, I still watch anything Turtles. I was in probably about 20 or so, in my early 20s, when the 4Kids series came out, and I was always excited about that. I always made sure, if I could wake up at that time, I would watch it, and I definitely plan on watching the new series. It looks really good. What I saw of it at Comic-Con, it was pretty awesome, and I have faith that the people are working on it. They're real fans, and they understand it's kind of a precious property, and it has to be handled with care, and I think that that's what's going on. So I feel really good about the new series, that it's going to meet that turtle standard that I have for the Turtles. So
in 2009, the Ninja Turtles did their 25th anniversary tour where they went cross country.
Yeah.
And you showed up on the day that they came out and did the foot tryouts and everything, and started to actually take part in things. You were there, I know for sure, at one of the dojos was when I first met you.
Yeah, it was when they were at the XMA headquarters, And then when they did the foot trial, I was there as well, taking footage of stuff, and I was at Comic-Con. I think that was the final stop for that.
Well, it was the final stop originally, but they went up north and did other things.
Couple stuff, yeah.
Let's move on from Turtles for a little bit and talk about your life now. You've been involved with trying to do some low budget movies and things here and there that you've told us about. Do you want to share any of this with the viewers?
There's not much to share, actually.
Yeah.
You know, it's, I've always loved movies ever since I was a kid. I've always dreamed of being in movies one day, and I think as a kid, loving movies so much, I think that's what drove me to want to be in movies, is just having a love for the media. I mean, I really do love movies. I love movies and television, and I always have as a kid. I was just one of those kids. It was just kind of plopped in front of the television, and that was that, you know, and I always loved television and movies. They always have a special place in my heart, so I think that's what really got me into thinking of being in the business. But as far as being in anything, most of the stuff are like, you could compare them to maybe Italian horror films from the 70s, you know, really over the top, you know, things kind of done for the sake of just doing it, and they're really bad movies, actually. You know,
B movies are fun. Start a drinking game, just sit down and relax and enjoy some time with some friends watching a B movie.
Well, one day I hope to work my way up to a B movie. These are a little bit lower than B movies. I kind of think that one day, I hope not. I hope I won't be in a panel similar to Troll 2. So hopefully that won't happen. Kids won't be throwing bologna sandwiches at me, hopefully. So one day I'll work my way up, hopefully, if I'm lucky, being a B movie, and then if, you know.
What are your skills if there's any scout agent looking at this right now?
Acting would probably be, as far as being in front of the camera, acting would be the primary thing. I also do stunts and martial arts. I've been doing martial arts ever since I was a kid. I started out in Taekwondo, traditional Taekwondo, and then I moved on. I started getting into like kickboxing and stuff like that. And then as an adult, I really got heavily into boxing. Started boxing, and that became a big part of my life for many years, boxing. And I'm still a huge fan of boxing. And since I had the hands, I had the feet, I had to put the whole thing together. So then I started learning ground fighting and jiu-jitsu and a little bit of judo and wrestling to kind of make the whole complete picture a well-rounded martial artist. And that's always something that I've wanted to be, as a well-rounded martial artist. And I mostly do it, though, for my own personal benefit and personal gain, just to because I have enjoyment and passion for it. I also do voice work. I've done a lot of kind of Adult Swim type cartoons, you know, and I've done a lot of the voices. I did a voice, probably the most memorable voice I did was Crackers the Clown. It was basically a clown that's modeled after Howard Hughes, but has the voice of Bill Cosby, basically.
So can we have a sample?
Okay, I'll give a little sample. These people don't understand about the space tomatoes. The space tomatoes are what drives the children mad, and you don't understand, and it's all going to hell, you see? And that's pretty much my Crackers the Clown. I also do a lot of post-production, editing work. I directed and produced and shot a film called Mind Polish, and it was just really just something that I did, basically a no budget with some of my friends at the time, and it was kind of just a funny movie that I made to just, you know, for people to laugh at and enjoy and have a good time with, nothing too serious, but it did get a couple of awards. I got into the Los Angeles Short Film Festival, and it was an official selection, and I got Best Experimental at the Skyfest Film and Script Festival, which is in North Carolina, because it is an experimental film.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
And you're also an artist, right?
Yes, yes. I do oil painting and drawings, and I also do a lot of work as a colorist. That's probably one of my strong suits, is being a colorist.
We actually have an example of one of his artwork pieces right here.
That's a charcoal drawing I did of an actor named Manu Tupou, who was my acting coach, who I studied with at the American Repertory Company. And the funny thing about this drawing is it's actually done backwards. I covered the whole piece of paper in black charcoal, and then I drew it with a eraser, and I did actually also draw it upside down. So it's done backwards and upside down, so it's a complete backwards drawing. And I like it, and I...
Really turned out good.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for letting us share this with everyone. Now, do you have anything you'd like to say to the fellow Turtle fans out there watching this?
Just keep enjoying the Turtles. Keep supporting all the different media that comes out with the Turtles. We got the Mutation in Progress, which will be out probably about the time that this airs, and keep bugging the producers online for that movie.
Yes.
We're not going to stop bugging you until you give us the movie. So just keep posting stuff and writing articles, and just keep asking about the movie, and don't let them forget. We want that movie.
Movie. We need movie.
Give us movie.
Live action movie.
Yeah.
Yes, stay with the live action.
No animation, yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you all for watching Cowabunga Corner. We'll see you next time. Could you take us out with a cowabunga for the fans?
Cowabunga!